Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be doing a subscriber political question live stream. So if you have any questions, anything you want to ask, this is the time to do it and ask any question that your heart desires, as long as it is political. Now, I did try to go through my YouTube channel community section to try to find out some of your questions, but actually, believe it or not, a lot of your questions had actually disappeared entirely, so that's unfortunate. But I remember vaguely what some of the topics are. So as of right now, we don't have a lot of people watching the live stream quite yet. So I do have a list of questions that you guys have previously asked me here on this YouTube channel. I'm going to go over them just so you kind of know what you're expecting in today's video, along with other questions as well. And if you want to jump around to a certain section of this video, in the link in the description below, I will also put the timestamp for each question. So we have James. He asked the question, if he takes Venezuela, what country is next? Hello, Taurus. How are you, my love? Epstein Island and the files. I know somebody here asked about the Epstein files. I tried to find your question. I know you posted it recently in a couple of videos, but it has since then disappeared, so it looks like YouTube deleted it. We have the question about Iran, China versus Taiwan, Ukraine versus Russia, England versus fascism, and then the United States versus fascism, and then whatever questions you guys want to ask as well. Hello, Doris. Hello, Carl. Hello, Kat. So I'm so excited that all you guys are here. So again, like I said, you can ask any questions you want. I did ask my guys to be able to give me enough energy, enough strength to be able to do this. I'm so happy that I'm able to do this with you guys live, not late at night. Anyway, this video is being recorded on Monday, January the 12th at 1:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just keep in mind this video is just for entertainment, educational purposes only as well. And if you want to help out the channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engage with the content, sharing this video with others, and even better yet, hitting the hype button really help boost the channel algorithm tremendously. And if you guys want to know, I am going to be making a video right after this on my cooking channel. It hasn't been uploaded quite yet, but just go ahead if you want to go check my cooking channel out. I will be making honey barbecue wings, Asian tang wings, and also garlic parmesan. So if that's something that interests you, especially if you like football. And we're also going to be doing like some potato stickers as well with like sour cream, ranch, cheese, bacon, and scallions. So if that's something that interests you, I will be doing that on the other channel. Hopefully the video will be out sometime soon. All right, so you guys asked the first question. So let's go ahead. Let's ask them your question. Hello, Brenda. Carl wants to know, am I still on track to dodging concentration camps that are run by MAGA Trump loyalists? Okay. Am I still on track to dodging concentration camps that are run by MAGA Trump loyalists? I'm going to answer that in a very different way. It seems to be that you're asking, are you going to be safe from camps in the United States? Now, not to like go back to things that I talked about in the past, but if you've been with me for a while, since I think I started the channel in 2020, I also talked about how during my vision, why I started this YouTube channel was particularly because I saw visions in my third eye when I was 13 of camps within the United States. So, and I saw a whole bunch of Latinos and Asian, and people asked me, just like, are you referring to the Asian camps back during the 1930s? I said, no, these are new people, these are new generations. So I'm going to answer that with this card, but it does look like we're on track, and we've been on track since Donald Trump taking office, 1 year ago. Okay, so Spirit Angels, tell me about concentration camps in the United States. I am well. How are you, Brenda? Will there be any actual concentration camp, the likes of the Holocaust or a genocide, the American genocide, caused by the United States government against people within the United States? That's exactly what it is. It's a genocide. Okay, we're going to ask if that is something that's happening. Okay. The better way to know is to use this tarot deck. Spirit Angels, tell me, will there be a genocide within camps across the entirety of the United States caused against Americans and non-Americans in the United States? Okay, so we have two cards here. We have protesting, we have oil spill, we have the Ace of Cups. The bottom of the deck here, we have the Two of Cups. Okay, so there is connection here, and the Sun card is reversed. So it doesn't feel like there's a sense of abandonment, at least not to the degree that we're thinking of. Yes, it is rooted in white supremacist and fascism, and it does have to do with trans people in particular. I don't necessarily see an outright version or a direct correlation to concentration camps with the United States that is comparable to Hitler. Now, this is a little bit weird because this is a little bit different, and it does feel like there has been a change. Something had changed since the last time I read on this, and it does feel like there is a little bit a dwindling of power in terms of how this can be orchestrated. So the better way to put it is, I don't necessarily see it being acted in the same formation that it has been in the past. I don't see that. But here's the thing. Let's do the Rider-Waite Tarot first, and then we're going to do the Eclipse Tarot deck and kind of understand what's going on here. We have the Tower card in reverse, and the Tower card in reverse is a very interesting card. It's being reversed for a very peculiar reason. The Tower card represents, normally when it's upright, it means major events. It is reversed. It's reversed for a reason because sometimes, more often than not, when something that is hidden from public view can also be something that comes out later on. So let's take it at it from this perspective. Although I said it doesn't appear that there is a camp, but it does appear that there is some sort of locking up of people in certain groups, subgroups. The Tower card, now that I'm reading it, it does give me the energy and the sensation that, okay, maybe at the moment we're not maybe aware of what's going on, but later down the line we will be aware. Kind of like how the Germans were not aware of the concentration camp. They kind of knew what they were doing. They didn't know they were mass slaughtering people. Kind of the same concept here, but instead it applied to the American. This is why the Tower card comes again. This is a major event that has not yet become its Tower moment. Although its Tower moment is currently undergoing now, okay, now that we have something undergoing its, major issues, that's what this Tower card is referring to. Now, going back into the reading, though, we also have here, we have the Ten of Cups reverse. And the Ten of Cups reverse is a very interesting card as well, especially when it coalesces around the Tower card. This is reverse, which indicates to us that what's happening within these camps, so to speak, is not happy times. So, although it does give us the sensation that there is a period of dwindling power, that might just be the illusion that they're casting. It could be the false premise to have your guards be lowered, to not be aware about what is really going on here. Here you have is the Eight of Wands, and it's upright, which means uprooting, to take someone from their original home, their original standing, and to force them out of a certain place. This is the Eight of Wands here. It means to uproot. And here you have as well, you have the Ten of Swords reverse. The Ten of Swords reverse is the reason why I wasn't 100% sure if they were committing 100% mass genocide in the United States at the Tower, because of this Ten of Swords. The reason why this is significant, because this means the end of something, the ending. This is indicating here that there is a beginning, they're going to start it, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to be able to be successfully finish it. The way that Adolf was, where he started it, but he was not able to finish it. I do feel like if that's the case, then yes, it has already started, it has already begun, but they're not going to be able to finish it. There is a period of quote-unquote liberation, if you will. Now, this is what I get for the camp to your question. Here underneath the Tower card, while all this is going on here behind the scenes, what is being in public viewpoint? We have the Four of Wands here. The Four of Wands is protesters. So you're asking the question, I think we're asking the wrong question here, is how are they managing to do all this? How are they getting away with this? What is creating a quote-unquote distraction to get people to be turned away from one area and make them look another area? They are doing it in the form of protesting, to get people to protest about something else while also doing something behind the scene. Now also, I'm also getting the sensation here that protesters are the new form of genocide, because the government actually had some sort of struggling infrastructure, at least that's what I'm getting, that they're struggling to be able to identify properly who is a threat to the government itself, who is a threat to the coup that has happened within the United States. And the only way to really find out who is that threat is to bring people out of their homes and basically put them as prey. And I'm not saying you should not go out and protest. I'm not saying that. But the fact that it falls underneath the tower card is a little bit significant in itself. So if you're understanding what happened between Reese Good with ICE in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, we can now understand on a deeper level that this was not a mere accident. Again, this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only as well. But it comes in as a genocide as well. So I do feel like they're eradicating people by dragging them out to the forefront. That's what it comes in here at the Tarot card reverse. Now, underneath the Ten of Cups reverse, we have the Taurus card. This indicates oil spill. Ironically enough, Donald Trump and his minions are going out and about trying to do oil. They're trying to take oil. They're trying to do things. There is a spill. What does that mean? This means that although they might be able to have some success in terms on the horizon, we do have the Taurus card here. And what the Taurus doing? This is the bull. It is blocking the oil. It is blocking. So something's going to come in that identifies yourself as a Taurus, and it's going to block. It's going to create like a barricade around any intention to go further with natural resources or to steal natural resources. So I do feel like a blockade is coming. Now, this is underneath the Ten of Cups, and this coincides with camp. For some reason, regarding your question here, it does coincide. It does feel like they're setting up camps in other countries to get people to be sent away. So the reason is not have it happen on American soil, but rather to have it happen on another nation's soil because it's out of view, it's out of perspective. Because when you put something so far away, it's harder to quote unquote investigate if you're not able to control where people are going. Now remember, the reason why martial law can never work in the United States is because we have a lot of land masses and everybody is kind of scattered throughout the entire nation. We don't have the capacity to have every military, National Guard, ICE, police officer patrol every aspect of American life. It's just impossible. That is why Donald Trump sent the National Guard to certain cities at a time, because we don't actually have the infrastructure to control. But in another nation, you have the full infrastructure. Because a lot of people within those nations are kind of like more coalesced around the cities areas, where the United States, we're not. And that also is to the benefit of the American society, because it is a lot harder for the government to grab you and take you away, because it's easier for you to hide because you're off the grid more likely than on the grid. Now, here we have being uprooted from daily life. We do have here, we followed by the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is indicating to me that there is something that is in the plan, something is in the works. Hello, Sarah. Something is being cooked, something is being planned. That is what the Ace of Cups did. Now, ironically, in the background, you see the two bulls again, also indicating that although it has relation to oil, there is something more sinister that's at play. And I said that before when we had Donald Trump attack Venezuela. I said, yeah, it might be about oil, and that's one of the main things that they're trying to push, but it's not exactly 100% about oil. There is a little bit of a sinister goal that is not yet publicized to the American people. Well, specifically more around the world. We do also have here, we have oil and water. Again, another oil card. Oil and water. Now, everybody who knows oil and water, when it's an oil spill, it does not mix with water, right? It just stains everything. Everything becomes black. But when you light it up, things go up in flame. Now, this is oil and water. But what happens if you put olive oil and water together and you put it in a blender? It becomes lotion. Something that's very soothing, something that's very creamy, something that's supposed to hydrate. What does this mean? Something that has been dehydrated becomes hydrated. And that falls underneath the Ten of Swords here. And the Ten of Swords is just simply indicating to me that although something had appeared to have begun, something has been rejuvenated. Something has been re-dried up and has begun. Now, if this is in any relation to the camps back in Hitler's time, that has since then dried up, in theory, right? But what could rehydrate it? Something that claimed itself to be like the ones of the past, a rehydration, a rejuvenation, if you will. So the Ten of Swords is indicating me, yeah, I do think they are doing something, and I have seen that for quite a while. Even back when I was watching some of my older videos, back in 2022, 2021, and 2023, I was reading about what happened when Donald Trump comes back into power, because let's be real here, we all knew he was coming back into power. it simply said that millions of people would be dead. And at the point, I didn't know how to understand the context of it, but now it starts to make a lot more sense. Now, remember, millions of people dead doesn't mean that you're going to kill, mass slaughter people in camps. It could also be through healthcare. It could be through, cutting of funding, food, resources. Necessarily have to be in the formation of a camp. You can create mass genocide just by making life harder for ordinary people, right? This is the modern version of it, the modern interpretation. That's why it's harder for people to realize the correlation between the two. And here you also have the Gemini card. The Gemini card is following through at the 333. Now, if you guys know anything about Gemini, Gemini is about the coalescing of people coming together. It's about the age of Aquarius too. The age of Gemini has started back with Saturn and Gemini back in July of 2025. It has since then caused a lot of conflict. It has since ended. But those main themes are going to be rejuvenated. We had third party rises or threats of a third party. We had the Epstein file released. So what does this mean? It means that the Epstein, the camps, and the oil and resources and other nations are all coalesced together. There is more of a goal here. It's not really like cherry picking and having one specific reason. There are many reasons for why things are going on at the same time, at the same place. So the Gemini card means that people, as of right now, they're hoping to divide. That's why the water card comes in reverse and the Gemini card comes in reverse, because they're hoping to divide people along racial lines, to divide people between identity, man versus women, black versus white, gay versus straight. That is what they're hoping for. They're hoping for that sense of division, but I don't see it being long term, and here's why. Although we have white supremacy, and this has always been the card that represents white supremacy being represented by the hanged man, we also have here the three of cups. This means celebration, right? This is love in its purest form, in its truest form. You can have hate, the uneducated, or you can have love. So, to answer your question more definitively, do I feel like there is something going on within the camp or there's going to be an attempt to create genocide? Yeah, I do. I do think that. But I do see a positive outcome. I do see that there is a clear division between the negative and the positive. I do see that. And there is more to the story than just meets the eye. There isn't like one size fit all. It's more of like an umbrella and it's all benefiting. Everything's all working, which means that everything here is being calculated. Everything is premeditated. That's why everything is happening the way it is in the specific order that it is. There is a pre-calculation here. This means that this is well thought out. Okay, so I hope I was able to answer your question. I feel like I deviate a little bit, but hopefully I was able to answer your question. Okay. Kate. I really apologize. I really missed it. Okay, anyway, your question, will ICE be stopped this year and will they have any consequences? Oops, sorry. Hit the wrong person. Hello, Candy. Hello, my love. Hello, Phonetic. I am well. How are you? So you wanted to know, will ICE be stopped this year and will they have any consequences? That's a great question. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look. I'm just going to cleanse the card because there is actually, ironically enough, there is ice in this deck. All right. Cleanse this tarot deck of any questions previously asked. Cleanse. Okay, perfect. All right, so Spirit Angels tell me, Kat or Kate wants to know, will ICE be stopped this year and will they have any consequences? Ooh, okay, we already got some people already protesting. Okay. All right. Will ICE be stopped this year? What is the future of ICE, immigration custom enforcement that has been under control in guise of Donald Trump? Now, we have the Empress. Now, Renee's good. She comes in as the Empress here. Ironically enough, Taurus literally just said Renee's good. She comes up here. Ironically enough, if you look at the woman here who's Melania Trump, it looks very much more like Renee's good than it does look like Melania Trump. That's the bottom of the deck. The top of the deck is we have, again, another card that symbolizes protest. The Four of Wands here. This is symbolizing the top of the deck for ICE. I do feel like there is going to be attempts kind of like what happened during NFL years ago with Black Lives Matter, with the kneeling. This is justice. There are people who are going to be trying to seek out justice, trying to bring awareness. So, to answer your question, will ICE end? The answer is no. But that doesn't negate the fact that their power is being diminished, that their appearance is being diminished. I do feel like people are out there, they are protesting, they are making it well known. They're showing more a sense of opposition. What's going on now is, and this is what I feel personally based off the card, we have the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is basically showing that we're going to see more of those action, more of those videos of Anish Good versus ICE. But instead, it's not really good in its entirety, but it's ordinary people up against ICE. It's going to showcase the oppressor versus the oppressed. But here's the kicker. The more these videos come out and more these people stand up, it makes the oppressor looks weak. Now, remember years, months ago, I said how I kept seeing that we were going to enter a period where the oppressor becomes the oppressed. I do feel that. I do feel that on a more subatomical level, when it comes to being outside and you're in direct conflict with ICE or any sort of federal agents at that point, you're going to have the oppressors try to attack you, right? But online, on the internet, it's the opposite. The oppressor becomes the oppressed. So I do feel like there is a coalition here. There is something that the people within Germany, the Jews back then, all these other subgroups back in Germany in the 1930s, they didn't have that. They didn't have the internet to defend them. This time around, though, the internet is playing a major role against federal agents in the United States. It's making it aware. It's making it people more bold, more likely to stand up to show their ground. So to answer your question, is ICE going to end this year? The answer is no. But is the image of ICE going to end? The answer is yes. I do feel like the internet is going to play a massive, massive role here. And this is not like a static prediction at all. But the trends are here. It's obvious. It's being shown in the cards. This is the Six of Wands here. It's also followed by the Gemini card. They want to divide. So I do feel like there is a clear division here that's going to be set up here. And I said this before. The Gemini card being reversed indicates a clear divide between certain subgroups, black versus white, women versus men, straight versus gay, you name it. The Gemini card, though, is also indicating, because it has to do with ICE and immigration enforcement, it also has to do with the internet. There's going to be a clear divide between people who are not on the internet and those who are. There's also a clear subgroup as well as those who are on the internet who are more susceptible to AI generated images and generated videos, those fake videos, versus real stuff. I do feel like there is going to be a sense of disbelief, a sense of misinformation. Oh, this can't be real. And this is why the Trump administration, I said this many times before, is actively engaging in behavior with supporting artificial intelligence because it negates the fact of people willing to see the truth for what it is. It tells people, like, oh, this can't be real. I don't believe this. It can't happen here, you know? It's that idea inside their head that, like, oh, we're innocent. We're never going to stoop to that level. That's exactly what they're hoping for. They're hoping that AI will allow people to question their own reality by seeing things with their own eye, by making it questionable to see things that are artificially produced. Now, remember, Donald Trump and his administration, at least in the White House, had actually engaged in creating artificial generated images already, videos and stuff like that. Half of it of Donald Trump administration hasn't been real at all. But most ordinary Americans cannot identify what is real and what is not. And here you have the Nine of Cups reversed. The Nine of Cups reversed is indicating what is going on with ICE. I do feel like there is going to be a restructuring, a refinancing. It's no longer about, is ICE benefiting humanity? Is ICE benefiting the people? Now, if you look at the cups on the top here, it kind of looks like chilled cups. But this card is reversed. This is like the soup kitchen. It's just helping people, get by. They, for the longest time, have said that ICE is doing good for the American people. This is the image. This is being tarnished. So to answer your question in a more better way, is ICE ending? No. But its image its perception of how people perceive the ICE is changing, and it's going to change this year. Underneath the Gemini card here with that clear sense of division, this was intentional. This is by groups of people who have a goal, who have an ambition to destroy certain things and to create a recalculation. So what is going on with IC? I do see a recalculating how certain things could be done, how certain things could be pursued. Now, I said this many times before. I said the Democrats are going to betray the American people, and I've said that many times before. So to keep in mind that just because they have a Democrat by their name doesn't mean that they have your best interests in mind. Look at the candidate, look at the person and say, okay, does this person have a good heart? How have they voted before? Have they voted for me or have they voted against me? So I think, if I'm correct here, I think 60 Democrats have voted in favor of keeping ICE and funding ICE at a larger scale than prior administration. So keep that in mind as we start to head into the midterms. When you start to look at Democrats down ballot, do some research before you decide to vote. That's all I'm asking, to do research. Because there are going to be some Democrats come 2026, 2027 who are going to betray the American people. Okay, so let's see. You have another question here. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the next question. All right, so Taurus wants to know, will this regime be ousted? I need some water first. Help somewhat. All right. Taurus wants to know, will this regime be ousted? Will Donald Trump and the Republican dominance in the White House, will they be ousted from power? Just give me a yes or no. Will they be taken out? Will they be removed from power? Will another foreign country take out the dictator or whatever? Okay. Okay, thank you. And final answer. Okay. So you want to know, will Donald Trump and his administration be taken out, or will they be removed, or in any capacity like that? Well, let's take a look at the cards here. We have the Page of Wands reversed. The Page of Wands reversed is indicating a sense of growth. But it's reversed. It means reverse growth. This means there's a decline here. So there's a decline. We have the moon card, which means to reveal something. So a declining of a reveal. So something has revealed and it's starting to decline something or someone. It's being challenged by the Four of Pentacles, which means to hold it on to power. Now, this is, if you guys been with me for a while, this section here indicates the past. This section here indicates the future. So the Page of Wands being reversed and the moon reversed and being challenged by the Four of Pentacles facing the past direction, which means the decline and the prospect of something being revealed about holding on to power from the past tells us that something is the decline of power hold within the jurisdiction of the United States. So this means that Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and all these people in position of power are losing control in the past tense. So we don't know when this time period is going to be framed, but we do know they're losing power in the past. And here we have is the moon card and the Page of Wands. This is just simply saying that they're losing power, they're losing control. Something gets revealed about them, and it has to do with a decline of some sort. It could be the decline of power even. We have the Ace of Wands, which is reversed, but it's headed in the direction of the future, which means that leadership isn't within their grasp. So something changes from the past that has been revealed that changes the dynamic of whether they can orchestrate something, whether or not they can push forth a goal, whether or not they can lead with something. And here you have, as well as in the future tenses, we have the Empress card in reverse. The Empress card being reversed is indicating somebody who's in a position of power. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you might be familiar with the Empress card. When the Empress card is upright, it then indicates that the person's in the seat. They are in control. They are in power. That they're in dominance. The Empress card being reversed simply means that they're out of power, out of control, cannot be able to be in a proper mindset. Now, this is the climate as well. This is somebody, the Empress card, that it has indicate the climate, the environment. What is going on here in this environment? What is going on within the United States that is telling us more on a subatomical level about the environment. It tells you that something is out of control environmentally under the Trump and J.D. Vance administration. Something is out of control. It means that something, either there's a natural event, natural disaster, there's a war, something gets out of control and they cannot contain that. Or they're showing a sense of incompetence. Here you have as well, you have the judgment card. The judgment card falls against the sitting ones in power. This tells me that the people will be liberated. The people will be free eventually. But it does tell me there is a great judgment on this administration. There is a great judgment, a stain, if you will, on the powers they're in. Based on J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, there is a great judgment that's coming for both of them. I do see that, and it comes up very clearly evident. So to answer your question a little bit more directly, will there be a regime change in the United States between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and anything like that? It does indicate that there is a decline in the power. And there is a revelation of the past that shadows and challenges the government in the United States. It does also indicate a decline as well. We also have here a weakened power structure, inability to be taken effectively, not able to create legislation or policy effectively, which means a failure in terms of competence. We have here the Emperor's card, which simply indicates that there is a reduction in power, there is a decline of power, leaving power, something that's out of their control. Something that they promised that they can get under was something that they could not deliver. So something that Donald Trump administration has campaigned back in 2023, 2024, whatever the promise they made, they failed. And the people are judging that. They see that they're going to be liberated from that. It's the cult-like mindset, the MAGA base. I do see them declining. And here we do have the Lover's card in reverse. The Lover's card in reverse is will the regime end? I do see it coming to an end, yes. But it doesn't give us a clear outline when. It just tells me it will end. But it feels like when they are out of power, when they are removed from power in some capacity. But it doesn't give me a time frame. But yes. Yes, it does. All right, so now that we answered your question, and if you guys want to go ahead and what to call it, just let me know about what you think of some of the questions that's being answered and how it's being answered. Just let me know. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. Okay. Epstein Trump male survivors, aka Sasha Burrows or Sasha Riley, came out with horrific stories of abuse. Thank you for that, Taurus. Okay, so Brenda wants to know, can I ask if Trump still trafficking children while being president, will he be so barefaced in the light of Epstein file investigation? I don't know what barefaced means, so if you can kind of tell me what that means, that'd be great. You're welcome, Taurus. That's an interesting question. Is Donald Trump, the President of the United States, actively engaging in malicious behavior with children in regards to trafficking? Okay. You got to be careful how we word this here. For entertainment, educational purposes only as well. We have the two pentacles. And the top of the deck here is we have the King of Pentacles. This is somebody who's in control, somebody who's in direction, somebody who's at their discretion. This is the Five of Pentacles. I think the answer to your question here, based off of these two cards alone, told me that he never left that lifestyle. That lifestyle is still very much prevalent in his daily life, even up until now. We have the Two of Pentacles with the King of Wands reversed. It could possibly be the thing that takes him out. Because here you have the Two of Pentacles. This is a very risky decision. This is somebody who has to weigh things cautiously. And here you have is somebody out of power. This is normally the card it represents for my channel. It represents the conservative approach. It represents the vice president. It represents that Republican nature. This is what the King of Wands simply means. When it's reversed, it means that his behavior, his action with children is very risky, especially still doing it as president today. Now, again, to keep in mind that that question is just for entertainment and for educational purposes only as well. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's answer that question more deeply. We have the Page of Wands reversed. The Page of Wands reversed means to not grow. So normally when somebody is growing, they were phased out of something, out of a behavior, out of an action. What action is Donald Trump still doing it? He has not grown from the last time. He has not grown. He has not learned his lesson. So it is further insinuated that no, he's still doing it. I don't think he ever ended it. He's still doing it up until today. We do have here as well, we do have the challenge card. This normally symbolizes going backwards when it's upright, but it also means the past. It means going back to the past. It means that something about his past is going to highlight in the future, but it's going to showcase that he was still active even when president. Now, here's the catcher here. Donald Trump has been president twice, at least in terms of number-wise. In terms of two terms, not one after the other. We have Biden in between. But the first term, Donald Trump has supposedly been in connection with Epstein. It's very possible Donald Trump had done it during that first term, and the tarot card is simply saying that the thing from the past is going to come out and say that he was actually engaged in this behavior even when during his first term. Now, going back into the reading here, we have the Three of Cups, which symbolizes a clear, obvious yes. By the Three of Cups, followed by the Six of Pentacles reversed, which means a loss of victory or, defeat. This is telling me here that in the future he will be defeated on this issue. I do feel like something's going to come out. It's going to showcase that, yeah, he was doing this even up until recently. And here you have it, the Nine of Wands here. The Nine of Wands here is going to be some pretty bad damages. And it's also going to be, for some reason, it's going to be associated with an assassination attempt. I don't know if it's relating to the one in August of 2024 or there's going to be a new one. Regardless, there's information that's going to come out and is going to connect the story more deeply about a possible attack, whether it's something that's coming in the future or something that came in the past, and it has direct correlation to a connection with trafficking children. It's also possible as well the kid who supposedly shot Trump could be in connection with the Epstein. Anyway, that's what I'm getting. I hope that I was able to answer your question, Brenda. All right, so Sarah, I heard ICE is going to be using social media to try to make themselves look better. Yeah, that seemed to be on par here. Taurus, I'm on the sub track. Heard 25 minutes or so. Decided no way I can listen to the rest of it because you can never unhear it. I applaud that man for his courage. Thank you. Hi, Candy. How are you, my love? Hello, my love. How are you? Welcome back. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Kat wants to know, will we be in a much better place by January of 2027 than we are right now? I feel a shift in the energy, but not sure when everything will take place. I just want us all to be safe. Valid question, very valid question. I do know towards the end of this year, going into 2027, I do know there is a problem with the economy. I do know that. Thank you, Brenda. Barefaced means audacious. I do know we're going to have a problem with the economy. I do know that. That's in my psychic channeling. Let me just show you, and then we're going to do a tarot card reading for you. Okay. I think it's the first one that I did. I think it's in this one, so I'm just going to read the whole thing, and you let me know what your thoughts are. So this one, you can kind of see this is channeled on December the 9th, 2025. Started channel at 9:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It says when it's all about to start. It said a new world is upon us in 2026. Brace for even more fast-paced change. 2025 was the year of transition, but this new year is the year of transformation. This is the year of action, not the year of setup. So it's telling me there's a lot of high energy that's coming. And so this is kind of tell us what's going to be happening in 2027, what is going to be occurring. So we're going to go off of this, and it'll be giving us a little bit more information. And many things will speed up. Make sure your seeds are well planted. So the seeds that have been planted in 2025 will come to fruition in 2026, and it will continue into 2027. Make sure your seeds are well planted. What you sow is what you will grow. You will need this seed over the next course of this decade. Okay, so we know that there's a great marketing scheme will take place and the people will be angry. Life becomes unlivable in its current structure. current form, new ideas will take hold in some areas. New radicalization will remain. What's to come of it may determine humanity's next direction, which means that this type of ideology between MAGA and versus liberalism, progressivism versus other areas, centrist approach, there is going to be that radicalization idea. It's still going to be something that's still going to be very much relevant. It's not going anywhere. We have here is the midterm will be fought with bears and dragons. A rabbit will win, a surprise, if you will. So a rabbit could indicate a third party. It could indicate, It could indicate new candidates, new selects, new people. Maybe people who have been in power for so long, whether they're on the Democrats or the Republicans, they will be ousted and new people will go in. But that's what the midterm is. The midterm, the bears represent the Republicans, the dragons represent the Democrats. Trump will go to the hospital, but will come out okay. He's not dying yet. Many Republicans will leave the White House and turn away. They shall. Pam Bondi days are up. Time is coming for her. Expect a huge scandal. More breakthrough on the art of cloning, including one successful effort on humans, an egg through an embryo. Something will go very wrong on New Year's Eve or day, somewhere close to the ball. May not be New York City, though. Could be another nation or a city during an event. So that has happened. It happened in Switzerland. Israel will face crimes against humanity. So Israel will face crimes against humanity. Making many will begin to doubt the Holocaust. A repeat is underway. So I guess that answers our question from earlier. So they're saying that there is another one on its way, but many will doubt the one that currently happened in the past. The truth will be revealed. One state, one God, one people will be the new ruler of the land. The real Jews of the heart shall win with the people of Palestine. For some reason, the writing's a little blurry here, but so they're saying that the people who are real Jews, who have a lot of love in their heart, is going to be connecting with the people of Palestine, and they're going to be creating a brand new coalition. A prophet will die, spiritual religions will pass due to his lies. Harris will take a step back from politics this year. A reset is underway. AI will go rampant in our lives. Protests for regulation in Congress will be a price to be paid. Who will the government choose, the people or corporation? Hollywood will face its first kiss of death. There will be fire, of course, but not forever. So they're saying that there's going to be a fire, but it also does have Hollywood is going to go under a lot of heat. Doppelganger AI will become a thing in the future. Your face, your body will be subject to the same laws and regulations as Roe versus Wade. A new fight will begin. Women will face even more hardship in the workplace due to the government. A new old restriction. So they're saying that something from the past that had restricted women is going to make its forefront in the modern day. Certain men will succeed, but many will fail. Many jobs will start to see the AI bubble burst at the end of this year, which means 2026, a below to 7% of the workforce. This will remain a hot issue as the percentage starts to climb higher in 2027, where the effects are even more pronounced than before. So that is the end of the challenge at 10:09 p.m. Eastern Time on December the 9th, 2025. So now that we understand that, I do apologize for stuttering. Sometimes when you have a dry mouth, it's very hard to maintain that tongue, if you will. You're welcome, Brenda. All right, so let's see. Let's answer your question. So Spirit Angels tell me, Kat wants to know, will we be in a better position as a country, as a collection, around the world? Will we be in a better state next year, January 2027? Will we be in a better phase? Will we be in a better way of life? Hmm. Let's see what's the top of the deck. We have the Lovers card in reverse. There's a lot of disconnect here. People see their life differently. And here's the Death. Something permanent had changed. Something permanent had changed. People see the world, their perspective differently. So I think the answer to your question is a little bit more subjective. That's based off of what the tarot cards are saying. It's saying that although in certain aspects, people will see their lives better than they were a year ago. This is assuming 2027. For other people, they're going to see their lives worse off in 2027 than they were in 2026. This is based off of these two cards alone. Something permanent changes their life forever. On the bottom deck here, we have the Page of Cups. This means wishful thinking, to assume something better is coming. But here underneath, wishful thinking for the Devil. Now, this could indicate a wishful thinking for those who have hate in their heart, who are very negative. Then they might have a part of life in 2027 in some aspects, but for other people, that might not be the case. It's wishful thinking to assume that they're going to have a harder life in 2027. So it's kind of like your perspective. How do you perceive that? Do you perceive them to have a harder life, or do you perceive them not to have a harder life? And it kind of seems to be a line here that's being drawn. It's essentially saying it's all based on your perspective. What do you think is suitable as a better form of life? Here you have, as well as you have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. It does tell me the economy is in a very bad position in 2027. This is the Ace of Pentacles reversed. The economy is definitely struggling. I don't see even any sort of financial aid or assistance to many countries or areas or resources or institution. I do see like there is almost practically no money. We do have here as well as the coinciding with the Seven of Swords here. The Seven of Swords means the ceiling, to the funneling, to getting rid of money. This is the yellow card. This means I do. This is just simply saying, it's further indicating in 2027, the way of life that we have now has been permanently altered. Our lifestyle, the way that we do things, the way we eat, what we do, how we handle our money will permanently change. Something changing in 2027. The question is are you going to perceive that in a positive light, or are you going to perceive that in a negative light? That's something that you're going to know come next year. We have here as well as we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is that you can stay in your rightful place. You can be in this mindset of like, things are coming better for me. Regardless of everything around you being in a worse shape or a worse position, if you leave with the mindset of like, okay, well, although this is hurting me now, how can I improve my life now to be able to better myself so when better times come, I could be more equipped, more prepared to take on those opportunities? Instead of trying to be in a state of, oh no, I can't believe this happened to me. This is the state of victimhood. I'm not saying that, the certain circumstances of the United States and around the world is going to be like a quote unquote victimhood, because there are certain things that you cannot control. But the Emperor's card is simply saying that you can either be subjective and be controlled by your own environment, or you can rise above your environment and allow yourself to grow. Now, I remind you, if you look at this woman here, she's in the desert, she's in a pyramid. There's a very lot of dry stuff, not a lot of action going on. But here you have is one plant coming. This is the sunflower. The sunflower goes in the direction of the sunlight. They go where the light is. Even though when things are dark, even when things aren't growing, the sunflower goes in the direction of the light. This is all based on your perspective. And here you have the Seven of Pentacles. Instead, take this opportunity in 2026 and 2027 to take a look back and say, what can I improve? What are things that I can do to make sure that I'm in a better spot? Yes, there are things that we cannot control. We cannot control what the government does. We know that. But what can you do so that you can make your life a little bit easier? That matters more long term than anything. Even if you improve yourself 1% every day, you have increased your livelihood by 365%. That's a big astronomical increase. 1% a day doesn't look like much, but it's significant at the end of the year. And on the top of the deck here, we have the High Priestess card. What are your values? What matters to you? It's telling you how are you going to lead your life. And this falls above the Empress card and the Seven of Pentacles. It's saying that it's all subjective. There's no right way to live your life. There's no right way to know if we're going to be in a better place or not. Because there are certain things that are out of our control. But what is in our control is how we perceive the world for us. Now, what can we do to make our life a little bit easier during a time of struggle? That matters a lot more. That's what this card is saying. And I hope that this was able to answer your question, Kat. I know that you will probably be hoping a little bit more for like political and stuff like that. But Spirit wants us to really focus on our perspective, to focus on our mindset. How are we going into 2027? And what can we do to help ourselves throughout this year? What can we do to make our lives a little bit better, make it a little bit easier? I hope that was able to answer your question. All right, so we have a couple more questions I want to get through, and then we'll end today's video. James wants to know, if Trump takes Venezuela, what country's next? That's going to be pretty simple. Let's go ahead. Let's answer that question. James wants to know, if Donald Trump takes Venezuela, which we already know he did, what country will be next? What country will the United States attack next? Okay, so we have the King of Wands reverse. Okay, so the King of Wands reverse means someone is removed from power, so somebody is removed from power. This is the Eight of Pentacles, which means a new plan is underway. So this means Venezuela, a new plan. We have here the Empress reverse, which means somebody else is also going to be removed from power. This is actually going to be a form of resistance. It's going to possibly put people or countries or allies in a very precarious reason, because it does feel like they're going to push the limits. It does feel like Trump is going to push the limits and is going to attack another nation that is either an ally or has many allies, and they're going to debate whether or not they should defend that nation or to let Trump take it. This is what the King of Wands reverse means. It means that the King of Wands is simply saying that the Venezuelan leader is removed from power. That is the conservative one, dictator. There's now a plan underway with the Eight of Pentacles. They're attempting to do the next one. And here the next one is being represented here by the Empress card in reverse. The Empress card in reverse is just simply symbolizing that they are planning to take a woman, or possibly something with a lot of green pasture, possibly in its name, so maybe like Greenland. Could be Canada, but probably unlikely Canada. So if anything, if I had to pick or choose, it would probably be Mexico or Greenland, which they will be attacking, most likely. Here you have it, the Five of Wands. Here the Five of Wands is that people, the allies are like, okay, do we actually defend the nation, or do we take a double step? It's almost like there is a little bit of procrastination here. There is a little bit of like, oh my God, what do we do? We've never been in this situation before. We haven't been in this situation since World War II. You know, we've been thinking about Russia being a threat, but now we have the U.S. being a threat. Now, here's the thing that I think that might be something that might be coming into the forefront. If Donald Trump decides to attack a nation, right, and all these allies are starting to panic, but then Russia coming to the forefront and saying, well, I'm going to take a piece of the cake. If they go to war with the U.S. and Russia, they open up a two-front war in Europe. That's not what Europe wants. I do feel like there's going to be a threat by another country that's going to force Europe to not make a decision directly. There's going to be something here that's going to force Europe out. If it's based in Europe, could be another nation as well. Here you have the two of swords here. It means indecision. Countries don't know what to do. Like, do we attack this person? Do we declare war? Or do we just wait? What do we do? It's almost like we don't know what the right answer will be. And here you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups reverse is simply symbolizing there is no clear-cut path. There is one path and one answer. The question is, what happened after? There does seem to be an answer. We don't know what that answer would be yet. Are they going to go to war? There might be some sort of hiccup. There might be a delay in the decision. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a decision. There will be a decision that's being made. Even if they just decide to appease the U.S., decide not to do anything, it's still a decision nonetheless. Silence is a decision. Cal wants to know, after this administration is gone, will there be better protection for DACA recipients and reform for them to become citizens? So many have been waiting many years with no help in sight. You're welcome, Kat. Okay, so to answer your question a little bit more directly and based off of tarot card reading from the past, I don't. No. I do see the U.S. undergoing a new structure. The current structure of the U.S. government and all its institutions and all its services and stuff like that is going to collapse. I don't see long term the U.S. government having to be able to hold on to that. I don't see it long term. So to answer your question a little bit more directly, DACA is part of the old paradigm, the old system. So it would be kind of harsh for me to assume that it will be reformed. It cannot be reformed because there won't be a structure, there won't be institution nonetheless. The US is undergoing its 250-year anniversary of Pluto returning America's birth chart. That means that the current structure of government is ending. That means the way that we live our lives is ending. There's new form, there's new structure. If we go through more of a true democracy, I do see a better formation being formed. I do see that. That was one of the things that we can go into the cards. The cards were simply saying years ago, well before Donald Trump took office again, that we could enter two timelines, well, three timelines. The third one simply symbolizes the dissolution of the United States, collapse like the Soviet Union. The second one is that we enter into a true democracy and everything becomes better. We actually become a real democracy. Or the first one is that we go through fascism and we live under an authoritarian dictator until that leader dies, and then it kicks on to one last person before we end up free. It could be two things like that. That seem to be the two most likely scenarios. Either way, it's an ideological change. Something must change ideologically in the US. Will it become more democratic, or will it become authoritarianism? Will it become more fascist, very nationalistic? That is the question that yet to be remain. So to answer your question in terms of DACA, that system, that institution, that has been altered, that has been ended. The next leader, whoever that may be, they're going to have a very big problem, because if they decide to rebuild the structure that created Donald Trump in the first place, the US will be in a very bad situation. If we have a leader who promises to build things from the ground up after it has been destroyed, we'll be in a better place. To better put it, if you were to knock down a hospital, completely eradicate it, fall to the ground, you build it up. You can build it up with better infrastructure, better modernization, better equipment, right? Than trying to just fix room by room. It's easier to convince a large group of people that you can create the most change by having things completely destroyed than to just simply just allow to fix certain things. It's been harder to change the healthcare system because it's been in place for so long. People are comfortable with the normality. They're comfortable with no changes. But when that change is no longer existent, that thing that they appreciate, the thing that they love, the thing that they're used to, it's gone forever. They'll be more open to change. So to answer your question, I do feel like DACA won't be a thing in the future. There will be something else that will take its place. A better version, yes. But will it be reformed? No. I hope that answers your question. All right, so the next question here, we have Epstein filed and Epstein Island, Epstein filed. Did we answer that? Okay, I guess we'll do it. We'll do it. So Spears Angel, tell me about the Epstein Island and the filed. What can we expect to come out or to happen in relation to the Epstein filed and Epstein Island? Now, we already know that there's a direct correlation between an attack on a foreign nation and the Epstein file release dates. We have the devil card here. Wishful thinking, Ten of Wands reversed, and the Eight of Pentacles upright. So here we have is the people who are involved, both Democrats, Republicans, Independents, doesn't matter who it is, in the Epstein file. This is the devil card. The devil card is just simply indicating the people, the ones who try to control what gets out, what doesn't come out. This is the devil. This is control. This is oppression. The past tense here, we have wishful thinking, Page of Cups, thinking that you can get away with it, thinking that, you know, you gave people a little bit of a reward. You gave them a little bit of taste. The problem is you gave people so much taste, they're craving more. They want more. They want to see what else can happen. Underneath this devil card reverse, we have the Ten of Wands reverse. It means there's no struggle right now. It's all coming out. It's all coming out eventually. And this is why the devil card comes upright. It means that they're able to control it to some degree, but eventually it's all going to come up. And because of that, there is a new plan on the way for what to do if another release comes out. To another distraction, if you will. This is the Eight of Pentacles, another distraction, the Eight of Pentacles. And here you have it, the King of Wands reverse and the Death card, which means the ending to another leadership. It could be possibly the end of a leadership within the United States, or it could be the end of a leadership in another nation. Either way, there's an ending that's permanently coming. And here is the Nine of Cups, which means that you're going to see the picture for what it is. People are going to see it for what it is. And also, you have the Three of Pentacles. This means underhand. It means underground. It means to hide. So this is telling me here with the Epstein files and the Epstein Island, it does feel like as more things start to get released, there is a plan in place for how to distract the news cycle, how to distract people and to make them look elsewhere so they don't look and see what is really being hidden. My partners in DACA has been here for over 40 years. They were brought here at 1 year of age, and it's a pretty scary situation right now. We're very worried. I completely understand. I completely agree with you. It is something to worry about. And what to call it? I personally don't know what to do myself, to be honest. For me, though, I would definitely be careful with how you word that, because I definitely don't want, if anybody on here, to have any information about you and your partner in terms of your immigration status. I don't want you to be like, anything being revealed publicly. But yeah, I do appreciate that. Yeah, and what to call it? In terms of that, have you and your partner considered what else to do, like a plan B, possibly? Iran. Let's take a look at Iran. I don't know what's going on in Iran, so this is kind of more like a blind reading. So Spirit Angels, tell me about what's going on in Iran right now. What is going on in Iran? And Kat, if you want, you can always comment in one of my videos recently and just put that question for Doc, and I can just do a dedicated video for you. That's completely fine, because I know there's a lot of people who follow me who are part of DACA, and I want to make sure that they feel safe as well, and whatever I can do to help. So we have the Lovers card in reverse, we have the Seven of Pentacles upright, and we have the Six of Swords upright. Now, I have no idea what is going on in Iran. I have zero indication. I just know there's massive protests. Somehow the Iranian leader is gone. That's something that's interesting. At least, I don't know if that's true or not. But we have the Lovers card. There is a clear division between the people and the government. There's a lot of distrust here. It's being followed by the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles simply indicates to me that there is people looking at the problem and saying, well, I have nothing to show for it. Look at all they have. Look what the government has. Look what these rich people have. Look what I have. It's a clear de facto, it's a class war is what it feels like. I feel like there is a clash between economic statuses and the ability to have a way of life. And here in the future card for Iran, we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords means better days are ahead for Iran. Better days are ahead. So if you're from Iran or you know anybody from Iran, better days are ahead for them. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's take a look at China and Taiwan. Now, I mentioned before in one of my recent videos, which I think, let me just see what video I did. I think it was either Trump and Greenland Future or it's Spears' message explaining why Venezuela was invaded, why Spears told that, and essentially said that China is going to play as a superpower. And the way it's going to work is that China is going to say, hey, listen, the U.S. is attacking all these nations. People who are most vulnerable are going to need somebody to rely on, someone who's going to protect them. There's no better person to come in as a de facto hero, playing the same story that the United States did back in Germany in the 1930s, helping or liberating all these countries, playing the role of superpower. There's no better time for China than now. China could possibly take this up as an opportunity instead of attacking Taiwan, to take up many opportunities to go to many different places around the world and say, hey, listen, I can help you, defend you from the U.S. if you come under my guidance, come under my surveillance, to come under my help. I'll protect you in exchange that you've only trade with China. China could become a world superpower because Trump could be destroying the integrity and the trust that the U.S. has built around the world. Now, let's be real here. The U.S. hadn't really built any trust. It had to use force. It used the military. It used economic threats, economic sanction. It made countries fully reliable on the U.S. It needs someone to help. China could possibly use as an opportunity to become the de facto hero, to become the de facto superpower. So, the question is, if they attack Taiwan, they lose that de facto superhero status. Another nation can take in, and that could be, another one could be India. So, Spirit Angel, tell me the situation between Taiwan and China. Interesting. So I feel like there's a little bit of delay between the relationship between Taiwan and China. But here we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups, when it's reversed for me, when it's upright, excuse me, it always indicates the previous administration, indicates the past. This card is reversed, it indicates the future. The Six of Cups indicates a future, something in the future about China and Taiwan in terms of relationship. There is a sense of betrayal that is upright, but it's kind of like already reached its height and it's starting to come towards an end. That's why you have it in this direction here. Because it means that it already peaked. The betrayal already peaked. It's starting to come towards an end. It does tell me that the situation between Taiwan and China is going to become a little bit lighter. It's not going to be as hard. I do feel like it already peaked. And here you have it, the Star card. The Star card is false opportunities, false optimism. Because China's attention, its span of influence, is so misdirected in so many places all at once, it's not able to generate enough attention to Taiwan or the issue of Taiwan at the moment. It does feel like there are more important issues, important matters for China to attend to. It puts Taiwan on the back burner for now. Almost like a truce, if you will. And underneath the Star card, we have the King of Wands reversed. And the King of Wands reverse means a new leadership change. I do feel like there is a new leader that's either coming in Taiwan or China, and they're going to reevaluate the relationship, to reevaluate the generosity. I'm hearing the word generous. So it tells me here there's more like economic trade. There does seem to be that there's going to be some heightened trade matter that's going to be considered with a new leadership, whether the leadership occurs in China or Taiwan, something changes and they no longer see Taiwan as a threat or see China as a threat, but rather as an economic ally. So there's going to be something here with economics. And here is followed by the Seven of Pentacles. That means the fall of a leader is going to institute between the relationship between Taiwan and China to be more of an economic relationship. And here you have it, the Fool card. This is the high risk. Because this is to make one nation reliant on the other. This is like the de facto security tool. This is to make the country not wanting to rely on the country, but to make them bend to the knees. So essentially what I'm saying here is that to make them feel safe, to make them feel protected, that you're not going to attack them because you're an economic ally. But that only lasted so long. I don't see that lasting forever though. Here on the bottom deck we have in the future, which is the Wheel of Fortune reverse, we have wishful thinking. The wishful thinking to assume that you can stay economic allies forever. When they see your benefit, when they see what you can offer, they'll want that for themselves. Why should we have to pay you when we can just have it for free? And the top of the deck, we have the Chariot card moving in quickly with aid. So China is going to come to an aid of a country is going to offer something in exchange for something else. And here you have is the Seven of Wands reversed. It is going to provide a sense of security, but there is an economic payoff. There is a loss here in the end. So that's what I feel in terms of the situation between Taiwan and China. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the issue and the situation between Ukraine and Russia. You're welcome, Kat. Let's take a look at the situation between Ukraine and Russia. Final outcome. What's going on between Ukraine and Russia? Will the war end? Will the war end? It feels temporary. Doesn't feel like it's ending yet. Oops. It feels very much temporary. Alright, so the first card that we get is the Sun card. The Sun card means to come out as stronger than ever. There's a sense of rebellion, a sense of pride, a sense of morale. It does showcase that one country or two countries, specifically Ukraine, has high morale, that they have a lot of heightened nationalism, that they all surrounded underneath the President Zelensky. While all that's going on here, we have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups simply means the refusing of handing over or settling for what you don't want. This is simply saying that Ukraine is not settling for less. It's settling for more than what they can garner. So this is more about a pride. It's about not just getting rid of resources. This has to do with Ukraine wanting to have a sense of pride, to have a sense of, we can do this. There's a sense of togetherness in Ukraine. And I do feel like there's a lot more positive optimism for Ukraine than it is for Russia. Here, this means international when it's upright. This means reverse. This is domestic. It means that this is how the people in Ukraine feel. They feel like there's a lot more for them to offer. There's a potential in the future for them. And underneath the Two of Wands here, we have the Death card in reverse. This indicates to me that there is a temporary ending, but it's not something that's going to be permanent yet. There's a sensation that this can come back. It can be reignited. This is the Death card. But what Ukraine chooses to do between the period of peace, it can set itself up for success to be able to protect itself by getting into an alliance that is less likely to be prone to another invasion, another attack. Here we have, in this quadrant, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8 of Wands, and it is facing the downward side, which means things are raining down. But it also means embassy. I'm seeing like infrastructure, resources, things are getting destroyed, not only in Ukraine, but also in Russia. There's a sense of depletion, a sense of moral loss. There's a sense of despair. Now, this is not what we felt in Ukraine, which means that this has to be indicating how Russia feels, the oppressor. This is the Two of Cups here. I think it was facing this way. There is a sense that there is a low morale in Russia, and that they don't like the war that's going on between Ukraine and Russia. The Ukrainians are feeling very happy. They're feeling very respectful. They feel very hopeful for what the world can offer them. But as for Russia, that's an entirely different beast. That's an entirely different morale. In terms of morale, if I had to put the two together, it looks like Ukraine can come out and be the one on top. I'm hearing the bear on top of the lion. That's the word I'm hearing, the bear on top of the lion. Now, the bear normally what symbolizes Russia, right? But the bear on top of the lion. But can they bear the weight? That's the thing. Can they bear the weight? So that's what I'm getting in Ukraine. Now, then we have two last questions here. We want to know about England versus fascism, and maybe the U.S. versus fascism, but we've covered that so often that we're not going to even talk about it today. We'll do England versus fascism. Now, you guys are probably wondering, Chris, why are you talking about this? What does it have to do with the United Kingdom? Well, for the longest time now, I've been saying this in 2020, that I kept seeing fascism will rise around the world, specifically in relation to the Allies, or what were the Allies in World War II. Instead, the U.S. will undergo a fascist regime, very similar to Mussolini. And I said later on, the leadership changes in the United States, and it goes with the Allies again. So it doesn't become fascist; it becomes an ally of another faction. For England, though, for the United Kingdom, I do see it going towards fascism because it has survived the Nazi Germany. It needs to undergo that change. Germany will become an ally. Italy becomes an ally. I do see that. Russia is a little bit of a very sketchy area. Israel becomes fascist. It already happened. Israel already became fascist. The United States already became fascist. The United Kingdom, it looks like it's not its way. We're going to go ahead and take a look, see what's going on there. So Spirit Angels tell me, what is happening in terms of nationalism and fascism in the United Kingdom? Wait, hold on. Is Nigel Farage, is he the fascist guy in the United Kingdom? I don't really know anything about fascist policy or foreign policy in what's it called, the United Kingdom. I don't know a lot about their policies or like their politicians or anything like that. Who's Nigel Farage? So Spirit Angel, tell me, what is the state of the United Kingdom in terms of fascism in England right now? What is going on with the United Kingdom? So there's a massive problem in England right now, actually. Oh, so he is fascist, and Nigel Farage is fascist. Okay, so I guess he's a fascist guy in England. That's good to know. Thank you. The top of that here is we have the two stories here. It tells me there's an election coming up in England soon. In the United Kingdom, I feel like there's an election coming up. When is the election? I'm looking it up on my phone because I don't know. UK election. I think it's a parliamentary election, if I'm correct. Oh, the 2026 United Kingdom election is happening on May the 7th, 2026. Okay, so I guess it is happening soon. All right. Interesting. The bottom deck here, we have the world card in reverse. It's a council election? Okay, thank you. I don't know what that is. Is that like a parliamentary election or something that like chooses who the leader in at the top? Council election in May. So here we have, in terms of the United Kingdom and fascism and its new leader and position to power in the future, we have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles saying that somebody is trying to hold on to power. I think if I'm correct, the Conservatives or the Tories were out of power. The Labour Party is now in power. With Keir Starmer, something like that. This is kind of giving the red. This is kind of giving they're trying to hold on to power, but it feels like they're very weak. They're barely polling. And I know that they're barely polling, that's like obvious. But it does feel like they're trying to hold on to power. They're just trying to do their best because it's the first time Labour had went into power in a very long time. But the Four Pentacles saying that they're not going to hold on. They're going to be gone. That government, that institution, that party, gone. Here we have is the Ace of Swords. Oh, so it's local government? Okay. We have the Ace of Swords reverse. This means to remove, to defeat, to oust the person out of power, to oust the incumbent party out of power. Now, this is one sword. And one sword would normally just mean one person. This doesn't feel like that. It feels like what's going on in England long term is there's going to be a bloodbath. This is the Ten of Swords. This means that whatever the situation is in the United Kingdom is going to be so bad that people rebel against the government. They rebel against the United Kingdom government. They rebel against the Prime Minister, the Parliament. They feel like their government is so out of touch, so ineffective, that massive radical change is the only solution to fixing the problem that they deemed as ineffective. The solution that's ineffective. This is what the Ten of Swords is simply indicating. It's simply indicating to me that there are major problems that is currently underway. There are major issues that is happening. They're not happy. They are not happy anyway. This is why the Ten of Swords comes in. It's being challenged by the Six of Swords here. It means moving into positive water. This tells me that the United Kingdom, in terms of its new leadership position, is parliamentary and selecting who the next prime minister is. It's going to go through a little bit of a tough area. There's going to be a clear, definitive line. It's either go toward the good side or go toward the bad side. There's not going to be that moderate, centrist viewpoint anymore. It does feel like England is going to become very polarized. So polarized, it can be comparable to the United States. It's going to be like there is the defining line here. And that is what the Six of Swords is. It's coming here that the United Kingdom, those within the United Kingdom will have to make a choice. What side are they on? And look, here's Brenda, right? She said, we need a new leader. So it tells me that you're in the UK. Here, underneath the Four of Pentacles here, we have the Two of Swords, which means indecision, which tells me there is an election coming underway, which we know is May of 2026, but according to Brenda, it is going to be a local government council election. But when it comes to the prime minister election, that's a whole other ballgame. I do feel like this is going to be the first step in a clear division, a clear direction, a re-altering of United Kingdom politics. I do see that very evidently. The question is, how is the monarchy going to respond? And here's the world's card in reverse. I do feel like England is going to become more shut out. The United Kingdom is going to become more shut out. They're going to become more isolated. So as see the United Kingdom become more isolated, it's going to become like to the point where people are like, oh, we got to protect ourselves. We got to be able to strengthen up and build up the United Kingdom. It tells me that foreign policy is a major issue for a lot of people in England, and they're going to use the government to say, hey, listen, I don't want this. We got to change all this. And they will. They will change that. The question is how. Are they going to rebel against the Tories and Conservatives and the Labour and select a fascist party? Or are they going to go and try to find an actual leader and actually put somebody in who's good, who actually create positive change for people in the United Kingdom? The question is, there's going to be a very fine line. There's going to be a lot of polarization that's going to happen. I think the 2026 election in England is going to highlight that dynamic. Yeah. So Brenda said that they're getting interference from oligarchs like Musk. So that could explain why there could be a rise of fascism in England. All right, guys. I think this live stream has been way too long. It's about an hour and 21 minutes in. So thank you all of you guys for participating. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And I thank each and every single one of you for participating. I love you. Have a great night. And I will be uploading a couple videos later on today, hopefully. But in the meantime, I gotta get cooking. So if you want to go ahead and watch that cooking channel, it is already uploaded. You can go ahead to my most recent video and you can go watch some of my cooking videos. I'm going to be making some bone-in wings and also some, what's it called? Like, I think potato with like sour onion and all that stuff. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Until then, I love you. Peace out. And remember, positive things are coming our way. Bye.